Now, if you notice, ladies and gentlemen, Chase and I have our sunglasses on right now because we are in the presence of awesome. That is my man Mike here. What is going on?
Too much going on.
Exactly. Welcome back. It's glad to have you here for Tom
back.
Clancy's EndWar Online here at the next level. Now, you are the writer, if I'm correct, for EndWar.
That's right.
Now, of course, this isn't your first go-around with a game.
No.
So talk to me. What else have you worked on?
Since about 2005, I've been working on a number of different Tom Clancy games. I've done, I was one of the co-writers on Splinter Cell Conviction.
Right.
I worked on Tom Clancy's Hawks 1 and Hawks 2, the jet combat game for the franchise. And worked on some DLC for Ghost Recon Future Soldier. I've also done a lot of background stuff, like for politics, military, near future intelligence situations that are used to kind of inform
exactly.
I remember
us talking yesterday, and we touched bases on kind of the amount of research that you do. You get into politics, you read your history.
You got to cover everything.
Dig deep. That is a great. So, do you do that because maybe you feel a little bit of pressure in getting your accuracy right? I mean, how much pressure do you feel working on Tom Clancy games?
There's a tremendous amount of pressure because you want to get it right. You've got to get the details right. That's one of the hallmarks of Clancy's books and, the Tom Clancy games is you got to know your stuff.
Right.
It's got to be believable. It's got to be plausible. It's got to use near future technology, near future situations. And on top of all that, we've got to make sure that everything we write about for the, believe it or not, a lot of the stuff we write about for the U.S. military and for the U.S. military's partners have got to get vetted by the government to make sure we get our stuff right. I mean, I've had my scripts.
Oh, that's so much pressure.
I've had my scripts looked at by guys in the Pentagon.
Ouch.
Yeah, and if I'm wrong, they call me on it, and I got to go back and redo everything. So it's hardcore. You can't make any mistakes.
So you have to a lot of accuracy, a lot of research. You don't want to be the WikiLeaks and accidentally spill something. You know what I mean? You don't want to know too much. Yeah, I think that's the most frightening part. Having to do all of that research for a game like that and then knowing too much. It's like he knows too much. This Tom Clancy game is too accurate. So
you have to be
I enjoy
you have to be pretty passionate about it too. You're a military guy. Like this is the stuff that you love.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I grew up doing this stuff.
I'm really glad to have somebody so involved and in depth. And with that said, what has been your favorite moment working on a Tom Clancy game?
That's really kind of interesting. I mean, there's two different things I really enjoy doing with it. One, a lot of the Clancy company like Red Storm over in North Carolina, what they like to do is get both game devs and the programmers and the writer guys together. We get to go out to like gun ranges, play with all kinds of military guns, bust some caps. It's a lot of fun.
That's fun.
What's the sickest gun you've ever shot?
Oh, I gotta know that one.
Man, probably M249 machine gun.
Okay.
That was a lot of fun. Rock and roll. It's great.
Oh my gosh, I want to go to the gun range.
Don't let us play with the really big stuff, but you know, that's about as big as we can get.
M249s.
I want to shoot one of those. Oh, it's a lot of fun. It's a blast.
Oh my god, I don't think I can handle it. It'd probably throw me off a building. Just,
don't do the Rambo thing, man.
You in one arm?
But you can't do
think that actually works.
No.
Okay, so what brought you into the EndWar project, and what are you most excited about?
Well, they approached me about it because, again, I'm one of the Clancy writers, so I've got the background. I know the games. So they came to me and said, you know, this is what we want to do with EndWar Online, where we want to take the game out, after EndWar.
Gotcha.
And what drew me into it was I get to basically take all the cool events that happen in the game and extrapolate them forward into this whole new situation. So I got to do a lot of world building, which I like doing. So kind of fun.
Okay.
And yeah, that's basically that was kind of what sucked me into it. And since I've gotten into it, I've had a lot of fun creating the characters and building the battles. I had a lot of input in creating the campaigns, single player campaigns. For the game.
Right. Well, since you just mentioned that, go ahead.
I was going to say, speaking of the single player campaign, just so everyone is aware watching the stream right now, this is never before seen.
Yeah, this is all
gameplay. Like, no one has ever seen this before. I'm just hanging out here going through the single player, but no one has ever seen these maps before.
And I am watching a little bit of this because, again, like I said before, these are two genres that I'm kind of frightened to get into, but seeing EndWar and actually getting a feel for it for myself, I have to say I am severely interested, and I'm intrigued because I love rock, paper, scissors, of course.
Oh, see, there you go.
But of course,
I mean, that's actually one of the beauties of the game. I mean, it's someone like you. I mean, it's a perfect entry level into the Clancy game.
It is.
Step in, you play it, you have fun.
With that said, you have a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge. You've dug deep into all these games because of all the writing and things you've done.
Yeah.
What's the background of EndWar?
Okay, basically, if you're not familiar with the game, EndWar was about a global energy crisis causes this big political turmoil in Europe, Russia. It leads to a big, giant Third World War, basically.
Right.
Rages for like 10 years. You know, nuclear weapons get thrown around, which is why you look at the game, everything's total ruins. The world has been devastated. There are no winners to the war. Everybody fights themselves to a standstill. You know, energy supplies run low. Nobody's got anything left to fight with, and so you get kind of a descent into chaos.
Right.
It's called collapse in the storyline. And at the point that EndWar Online takes place, it's 10 years after the end of the war.
Right.
Civilization.
So it actually fits into the original story.
It does. It does.
Okay,
It plays off of it. And things are kind of, they've rebuilt enough that they can start to try to expand out from their bases, so to speak, and recapture territory and liberate captured areas. And you're basically rebuilding the civilization.
That's pretty awesome. I'm glad when we actually saw gameplay you showed us yesterday and the day before. We did see, of course, we saw Paris.
Yeah,
we saw it torn to bits, torn to shreds. We had our president trying, shooting a couple people, going through the training mode. A couple of, gunfire will help rebuild the city.
Absolutely.
How that works, I don't know. But that's pretty accurate. You are saying we are rebuilding it from an apocalypse, it feels like. So that's really awesome.
Yeah, that's how, I mean, some cities you'll see in the game, some maps are more beat up than others. But like in the case of Paris, that city's been fought over 6 or 7 different times. Trades hands, so it's been just, blown to pieces.
And that's kind of like the main goal as a player is you're taking charge of this faction that has been decimated.
Right.
Like,
you're down to like a handful of units.
Yeah, you're not a power anymore.
You're not a superpower anymore, but you're trying to become one again.
I think I like that transition. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
It was a lot of fun to work with. It was a lot of fun to extrapolate that and try to create an interesting situation that you could get into and really want to play and, move forward with it.
Gotcha. So this game is on a web browser.
Yeah.
So are you taking a different approach in writing this game for a web browser than compared to anything else?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to. I mean, it's a totally different experience.
Gotcha.
A AAA game has got a lot more resources. It's got higher investment level. You want to get into it. You want to get to know the characters, get to know the story. This is all about, you go online, you play quick, intense, fun, tactically challenging battles, and when you're done, you log off. You go off, do your thing, come back again later if you want to play it. It's not meant to create this all-encompassing sort of experience that you kind of get in a larger AAA game.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's a bad story. It doesn't mean it's a bad game. It's just a different experience.
Gotcha.
And so you got to tailor your story to that experience.
Okay, that makes sense. So, I have to say that, usually, at least in my experience, I've noticed that browser-based games, they get they get a lot of stereotypes that they're too easy, too straightforward, and all of that stuff. So as a writer, how do you have to deal with that?
Well, I mean, this kind of game, it's evolving.
It is. I've noticed.
Well, yeah, it's actually it's developed quite a bit over the last year, 2 years, whatever. So people are still trying to figure out the best ways to tell stories in this format.
Gotcha.
And we're trying to do the same thing here. We're trying to create this, interesting setting and a compelling reason to fight to make you want to invest yourself into the game.
Understand, and I'm glad you mentioned that point a little while ago about you trying to innovate, because browser games aren't really known for stories.
No, not really. But I mean, that's one of the things we're trying to innovate here.
Gotcha.
And really evolve. Take this as a browser game to the next level.
Yeah, how are you doing that?
Oh, well, I mean, the graphics obviously are awesome. We're
you know what?
A lot from
they're built in Flash?
Yeah, it's a Flash-based technology.
See, that blows my mind on proportions I can't even fathom.
Well, I think another cool thing about this, talking about storytelling is, despite adding to all the phenomenal storytelling that you're doing in the game, is that we've created sort of an arena where people can tell their own stories too, with the theaters of war and the way people, it's like massive global warfare. That's kind of where like the MMO elements come in.
Yeah, to some extent,
yeah, and people are going to create their own,
Absolutely, build your own armies, get your heroes together, go challenge your enemies, conquer the world, or liberate the world, as whatever side or perspective you got, and have fun with it.
I like that. So now that we transition it, we do see that the 3 original factions, they are back.
Yes. Yep. In the beginning of the game, you're going to have access to 2 factions.
Two factions. Okay.
Yeah, the Europeans and the Russians. Spetsnaz and Guards brigades for the Russians, and Enforcer Corps for Europeans. The next major release after that will bring in the American faction, the JSF.
Gotcha. So how did they evolve from the original EndWar?
It's really more accurate to say they devolved.
They devolved. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess that's true because you said they were superpowered. Now they're trying to rebuild. Okay, continue. I like that.
So they've been beaten down. They've been decimated. They've only got a handful of units left.
Right.
They've still got access to some of their cool old tech that they've tried to maintain. I mean, we're not talking Mad Max here.
Right.
But the technological base to make this stuff, on a big scale is gone. So they've got to hoard what they've got and use it wisely to win battles.
Gotcha.
So a lot of if you've played the EndWar and you enjoyed it, you're going to see a lot of familiar elements in the game. But it's like EndWar, only more beat up.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So I remember yesterday we were talking about our heroes.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the MOBAs, kind of style right now. But
sure.
I remember talking about them. So how do you create heroes for a game like this?
Right.
Where do you get the concepts from?
Well, basically what we wanted to do, we wanted to find units and background, army units, officers that have a basis in the real world. Mm-hmm. We're not using real people, but we're drawing on real world units, near future technology. And
oh, nice. You got a win right there. Just wanted to point that out. Good stuff.
Sorry,
you put in work while he's talking.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
You did a great job. But yeah, we're taking that information and then we're giving each hero a unique ability that makes his unit especially powerful in the game.
Right.
And taking those abilities and mixing them and matching them is what gives your army its own unique identity.
Mm-hmm.
So we're taking all that and creating a compelling personality and inserting them into the stories in interesting ways that once you unlock them, then you can use them going forward for your armies in the multiplayer area.
Gotcha. So with that said, this game is, really involved in it's part of the Tom Clancy universe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I have to ask this question. We're talking about heroes. Are we going to see any special guests in here at all? Is that possible?
It's possible. You just might. It's possible.
Come on. You got to give us more than that. What are we going to have? I want to know. Come on, man.
You're going to see some heroes that you're going to be familiar with from the Clancy universe.
Right.
Might not see Jack Ryan.
Hey, you're not going to see Jack Ryan on the battlefield leading a group of tanks. I'll give you that. That's true. But other familiar faces may well appear.
All right, so we have here some questions from the fans. I'm going to actually read these off for you. So,
cool.
Question for the story writer.
Yeah.
Many players of the original EndWar have wanted the skirmish maps part of the theater of war. Where do you see the storyline developing to include many new maps and battlefields for EndWar Online?
Okay, that's a really good question.
That's Mars Flyboy, by the way. Shout out to you.
Okay.
Before that.
What we're going to do is, it's a really rich setting.
Gotcha.
And we're already looking ahead to find new battle areas to play in. And we've got an entire world to play with, basically.
Yeah.
And we've already got ideas of where we want to take the game beyond what you see in the initial release. So, there's going to be we got plans. We got plans for new maps. We got plans for new areas to fight in.
Right.
And they'll be released as the game goes along.
Okay. That I'm curious to see, I have to say. So, for you got your question answered. Glad I had to do that for you. So, do you feel that EndWar will tie in with any other Tom Clancy's game? So, maybe like EndWar is after the time period of Watch Dogs or a global scale, some kind of global scale of turmoil. Do you think it'll tie in anything else?
One of the good things about EndWar is that it is its own separate thing. It's so far in the future chronologically from all the other games, even like Watch Dogs or The Division, that it's its own little playground, its own little sandbox. So while there may be references to previous Clancy games, I don't see it being really closely tied in. There's going to be shout-outs to stuff, but it's not going to be a really tightly...
Little Easter eggs in there.
Yeah,
okay, fair enough.
Put some stuff in there.
So will the storyline explain how the splendid factions of EndWar have access to the advanced tech that really is affordable to an unsplendid nation? Or?
Yeah. I mean, like what I was saying earlier, it's not that they can still make the stuff because the industrial base has been destroyed. You still got gas is like $6,000 a gallon and crazy stuff like that. They're artifacts. They're stuff that has survived the war, that's been carefully hoarded and carefully maintained, and has to be used really wisely in battle. The units, I've got all kinds of salvage stuff from different time periods that they're using. Old like 1980s Cold War tanks that the Russians have fixed and patched up with baling wire and chewing gum and sent them out to fight. So it's going to be, the technological level is going to be kind of all over the map. There's going to be some high tech, but it's not going to dominate. You're going to have Europeans running around with laser guns, just willy-nilly on the battlefield. You might see some of that stuff in crucial moments of the fighting.
Right.
But it's not going to be ever present all over the place.
Okay. That right there was actually all of the questions from the...
Great questions, though.
Yeah. I love those online questions. Go ahead. You got something to say?
I was going to say a lot of those questions, I just want to give a shout-out to the guys watching. So there's this group on Facebook called the EndWar Legends Lounge.
Yeah.
And it's these like 90 guys who are like super hardcore EndWar players from the original EndWar, still play, and they have like a very tight-knit group.
They're awesome.
So, yeah, they're really cool. But,
big shout-outs to you guys
shout out
for
to the
tuning in.
EndWar Legends.
Absolutely.
Showing your love. Getting another rendition of EndWar out. I'm still kind of shocked and amazed that this is on a browser, which means you don't even have to download it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pop online, play the game whenever you want to.
I think I might join that community. I don't think I'll be part of the Legends because I'm kind of coming in new. I don't have that longevity, but hopefully one day I'll be a legend.
You're a legend in the making.
You are a legend in the making.
It's just a matter of time.
And if you want to be a legend in the making, all you got to do is go to EndWarOnline.com. Right. You can sign up for the closed beta. We're not in closed beta yet, but you'll be one of the first to to get a shout out.
I have to say, there's been a lot of fans of your games, especially in the live stream today. They've been tweeting at us, saying a lot of stuff. If you guys have anything to say in regards to EndWar Online, make sure you tweet us at TNLVL. Use that hashtag #GotGame. And with that said, I'm putting my sunglasses back on. I want to give a salutations to the man of cool. I am so glad you came here, Mr. Michael Lee.
Glad to be here.
The writer, and he's like the genius behind Tom Clancy storylines. I hope the government's not looking for you, man.
Oh, they know how to find me. They know how to find me. We've had that conversation
He probably talks to them all the time, so great stuff there.
With
that said, we are going to cut to a commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to have more tournament action for you guys. We'll see you in a bit.